Hi, I'm Soderbergh. In this video, let's study two great directors who surprisingly moved away from their usual filmmaking style into a ultra low budget filmmaking style very late in their careers. The first is Orson Welles with his last project, The Other Side of the Wind. This is an amazing project on many levels. It's almost unbelievable that Orson shot this film in black and white, in color, and Super 8, Super 16, and Super 35 millimeter film. He used Super 35 millimeter film for some of the portions where he showcases a film within a film, which is sort of a surreal dream sequence. And it is in stark contrast to the rest of the film, which is shot in a sort of cinema verite or mockumentary kind of storytelling. A lot of handheld camera work, fast cutting, very fast dialogue back and forth and all that. This film was shot by cinematographer Gary Graver. Orson basically asked him to just follow the actors around, record everything, sometimes with multiple cameras. The project took about 6 years to complete and ended up with just shy of 100 minutes of film. The final film is only about 2 hours long, so you can imagine they were shooting at an insane shooting ratio of 50:1. So why did Orson Welles pick this style? First of all, he was basically insulting the French New Wave and the Hollywood system in general. This was his last big FU to the cinema industry, maybe. To understand more about this, I urge you to watch the documentary accompanying The Other Side of the Wind called They'll Love Me When I'm Dead. You can find both on Netflix. If you're making a ultra low budget film in the mockumentary style, cinema verite offers you some benefits. With this style, you can save money without worrying too much about lighting or camera systems because you're moving around a lot. You tend to mostly shoot in natural lighting or at least in a bare minimum lighting style. You can work with a small crew, maybe less than 5 people. You can work quickly with such a small crew and cover many scenes a day if you plan it well enough. If you can afford multiple cameras, you can get different camera angles of the same scene without having to do retakes for every different camera angle. And it helps the actors' performances as well. So you can experiment with them, with the actors and their performances, and take advantage of any situation on set in a more fluid manner. The biggest benefit of cinema verite is also artistic. It allows the audience to, let's say, mingle with the characters as part of the story, just like a documentary. So instead of being a fly on the wall, the audience is more like a fly on an actor's shoulder. Unfortunately for us, Orson Welles died before completing the film. It was only edited and completed recently. I urge you to watch this film on Netflix. It's a great thing of beauty. There are some great scenes. It mixes a lot of genres, a lot of ideas, and it shows you Orson Welles as you've never seen him before. Steven Soderbergh is another director who abandoned, or sort of abandoned, his style and went to a ultra low budget filmmaking mode, and he decided to use an iPhone for his new film High Flying Bird. I think using an iPhone for a film is just a gimmick. An iPhone is not cheap, never was. Today it costs about $1,000. When Steven Soderbergh used the iPhone 8, it cost about $800 or so. He had 3 of them. And on top of that, Soderbergh wanted to shoot anamorphic, so he had these anamorphic lens adapters that you have to purchase separately to attach to the lens. There was a case to which you had to adapt the adapter. There was a gimbal, I think a DJI Osmo, so he could walk around with it to get stabilized shots. And finally, he also purchased a paid app called Filmic Pro, and all of this costs money. It's not an ultra low budget option. My question is, why would anybody use this combination of equipment when you can achieve far better image quality for the same price? You can get great image quality, great stabilization, autofocus, exposure control, and a million other things with something like, let's say, the Sony RX100 series. The newly launched RX100 is a perfect new entry for this style of shooting. Even the older models were, and still are. And if Soderbergh really wanted to shoot anamorphic, somebody of his stature could have easily asked Panavision to make an anamorphic adapter or lens for, let's say, a camera like the Panasonic GH5, which has an anamorphic mode, and it costs roughly the same as an iPhone. If you watch his new film, High Flying Bird, you'll see there are many situations where you can see exposure problems and stabilization artifacts. He could have avoided all of that with a proper camera. The codec the iPhone records to is crap, and there's no easy way to offload the data as well. According to Soderbergh, he spent hours and lots of money on the DI trying to grade the footage to get it to look good. But he could have just saved all that money by going to a camera which was just a few $100s more than what he was using anyway. It would have saved him time, a lot of headache, and he could have gotten far greater image quality with no compromise in performance. Because the main benefit, according to him, of the iPhone was he could place the camera anywhere. But that applies to any small mirrorless or small DSLR camera. If you look at the images, you will see for yourself, he wasn't going out into the field with just an iPhone in his hand. He had a tripod sometimes, he had a stabilizer, there was a cage surrounding the tripod, there's a guy holding a boom mic. So how is this any different from shooting a mirrorless camera? Where's the advantage here? So I just don't see the advantage of using an iPhone. So I won't recommend that you use an iPhone or any kind of mobile phone, because even a cheap mobile phone with good camera is at least $500 or more. And that's just for the phone. You still have to worry about all the accessories you need to make it work. You have to worry about batteries and charging and audio, especially audio. If you're interested in knowing more about what great video cameras you can shoot for less money, I've written an article about it. You'll find the link to it below. Anyway, coming back to the style of High Flying Bird, I find it is amazing. Previously, he shot a film where he had the same cinema verite documentary kind of style, and he abandoned that for a more Hollywood kind of treatment with slow, stabilized shots, solid frames. The filmmaking is top-notch and is really a masterclass in how ultra-low budget filmmaking can look on the big screen. In this case, again, it's Netflix. The style is in stark contrast to Orson Welles' urgent documentary style, and Soderbergh didn't use multiple cameras. The filmmaking is as structured as any other. So what it tells us is you can still get a classic Hollywood kind of film look with cheap gear. For me, that's the great takeaway here. Of course, you still have to get great actors, good locations, and have a good script, a good story to tell. And let's not forget audio. The difference in audio between both movies is very pronounced. Orson had recorded audio on location. Some of those actors are not available anymore. I think they had a lot of trouble trying to loop some of the audio, trying to clean up the audio. So if you watch the final product, the audio is not exactly at the same class as a polished modern film. On the other hand, High Flying Bird has great professional audio, and the movie benefits a great deal from it. Ultimately, though, I just wanted to make this video to show that you can achieve any style of filmmaking, whether it be cinema verite, mockumentary style, or classic Hollywood style, with cheap gear and a small crew. And these great directors, people you would never expect to venture into this kind of filmmaking, they have actually blazed the trail and shown us, actually we all know it's possible for a long time, but they showed us that it's okay to make movies with cheap equipment. I find their attempts inspirational and motivational, and I hope it helps you too in making your own films. If you like this video, please hit like and don't forget to subscribe. Bye now.